19.
We're pretty sure. Not 100%, but we're like 90%. Episode 19.
Yeah, episode 19.
I'm
Katie.
I am Garrett. We are talking about...
No?
No?
Don't we have a Patreon of the week?
We do. Oh, yeah. We probably should do all that before I talk about what we're actually discussing today. Our Patreon of the week is Bill. We have some special whale noises for you, Bill. Just gets me every time. I wish that there was a way for you to combine your Sean Connery, Nadja Goldmember voice with your whale noises. That would be really great.
That's not what your mother said. Did I do it?
That was great. That was great.
Hope you like your episode, Bill.
That was great.
Thank you for being a Patreon.
A pet
Patronus?
Oh, yeah, you know what? I like that nickname for Patreon subscribers. A Patronus, that's good.
If you want to be a Patronus and get your own shout out, you can join our Patreon at thebarsanklehigh.com/ Nope.
Patreon.com. I know. As you said it, I was like kind of like vibing over here like, yeah. Nope, she's doing it wrong. Patreon.com/ thebarsanklehigh.
Fuck.
Oh, put that thing back where it came from or something.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Anyway.
What are we learning about today, Garrett?
I'm so excited. So we're doing a special Christmas episode today.
Yeah, Christmas!
Katie's favorite holiday.
It is the best day!
I, very on brand for me, found a weird way to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about Krampus.
Yes!
Krampus, also known as the Christmas devil goat, which in my notes I have also known as seasonal affective Garrett.
You grow hooves and you just clomp around.
I do. I just stomp around and scare children. So I know like Krampus became a little bit more, I would say in pop culture. 2015, there was like a Krampus movie that came out.
Yes, I remember that.
And Adam Scott and Toni Collette were in it. Like the cast was like decent. I have not seen it.
I have not either because I am afraid of things.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's supposed to be campy horror, but it's just like not my jam.
What does that mean, campy horror?
Like it's supposed to be bad.
Oh, okay.
Campy to me is like a level of like irony. Like we're making this and we know it's supposed to be like kind of a corny horror movie.
Not like you should be afraid of the woods afterwards.
No,
Not
but
that kind of camping.
I just don't want scary things in my brain.
Yeah,
creepy, like weird stuff my brain is full of.
Look, I told you the other day, I woke up in the middle of the night, convinced myself I could see my breath, and also thought I was being haunted because of a sixth sense. So,
Which, might I add, we both think is the fucking scariest movie that's ever been made.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan can...
That movie, oh god, it's just so scary. So anyway, people laugh at us when we say that, but we both agree it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first things I said to PK when we first started talking. Was like, you can't, like, I can't handle the sixth sense, so... It's a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Because everybody laughs and they're like, it's not even that scary.
It's not that scary. It fucking is. And you know what? It's in a very low-key, kind of like Hitchcocky type way where it's not overtly...
It just lives in my head rent-free. That's the problem.
100%. I will never... Literally every time I walk next to a bed, I'm like, somebody's going to grab my ankle.
We had a Barca lounger growing up, and I would love to sit in it. But for the longest time, I wouldn't, like when I had the leg thing up, I would like jump out of the chair by the side because I refused to put my feet down.
Not sure how that
Sixth
connects.
Sense.
Oh, okay.
Because of the girl under the bed.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I was just like, and same thing. Like when I got out of bed in the morning, I would like get out of bed.
Yes.
Like I would go out of the bed.
Yeah, that movie has stuck with me more than like, and not that I watch a lot of scary movies. I also like I just don't want it in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay watching it, but then after the fact, then my brain's like, do you remember that really super scary thing that you saw now that you're walking into a dark room?
Yes.
And I don't want
Yeah,
that.
like The Sixth Sense made me scared of looking at a closed door at the top of a stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
That's what The Sixth Sense did.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to have that fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Super scary movie.
So, you
So
like,
no, I
but
did
you
not see
like
Krampus. I haven't seen it.
But you like the character.
I think the concept is really funny. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos recently. So there's like, this is one of those things that because the stories are so old, we don't really know exactly what the goal was. We don't really know exactly where it came from.
So you don't know like which outcast from their little village had sex with a goat to make
we're not
this
sure.
Krampus character.
We're not sure. So they
But
think
someone definitely did, probably. That's the lore.
no, there's no bestiality in this lore, Katie.
Okay. Well,
So they don't even know where the name came from. So some think it's from the old German word Krampen, which means claw. Or there's also like this old Bavarian or like Austrian word that's literally for something.
Christ.
It's supposed to describe something lifeless and dried out, which is Krampen. So they don't really know where the name came from.
Man, German is such a magical language. They really
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Also, their name for ambulance is Krankenwagen. Actually,
I
I
love-
think it's Krankenwagen. Yeah.
The length of German words. And don't get me wrong, like it's kind of like I feel like Latin where when you break it down there's all these different root words.
Yes.
But
yeah,
they'll
I'm
put
sure it completely makes sense.
30
but,
root
like,
words together and it's the word is so goddamn long.
Yeah. Hospital is Krankenhaus.
When we were in Germany, that's what I did the whole time. The whole time.
Krankenhaus.
I would try and pronounce
would say
everything
it.
in a really obnoxious way, but quietly so that nobody heard me make fun of them. So Krampus, or these... Side note, I've been referring in my notes to Krampus as Crampy. So I'm just going to shorten it to Crampy. So these Crampy-like characters have appeared in like different Alpine, which they're considering like Austrian, German, also a little bit Eastern European folklore, dating back as far as the 6th or 7th centuries. So old, but there wasn't really anything concrete or written until like the 16th century. So they're thinking that there's like pagan roots as well as like Christian roots to it.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
they were right to fear the goat.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of ancient lore with like horned creatures.
Is that part of the world the place with the goats that like climb sheer
Yeah,
rock
yeah, like
faces?
those
Yeah,
Alpine
I could
sheep.
see looking at that and being like, that's not from this world.
Yes.
That is not a
It's standing on a pebble
Yeah.
that's 5,000 feet off the ground
Yeah.
and
that
comfortable.
is powered by Satan, not
Yes.
not our Lord and Savior.
Did you ever see?
God.
So I know,
Sorry.
I know that you don't like scary movies,
Yes.
but did you ever see The Witch, which came out like in the last like 10 years?
No.
But it wasn't spelled like witch; it was like VVITCH.
No.
Okay, it's about like pilgrims, and it was really I really liked it. Anyway, it has to do with goats. So there's a lot of that was an aside
The
that
pilgrims had goats. Got it.
yep.
But they weren't
Demon
Krampus.
goats. So there's a lot of like pagan rituals and festivals that they're thinking it might be tied to, like around like the Yule and like solstice celebrations, where
Yule is just the magical celebration of burning logs, right?
yeah, it's all surrounded around the solstice and like the longest night, the shortest day, and they view the solstice as like the returning to light. So it means like the light's coming back, and it also because this actually started with me researching the solstice. A lot of those, I mean, every part of the world, pretty much like every old civilization had some kind of solstice celebration. And a lot of them, especially like in areas where it was cold during the solstice, it was marking like the end of when we had food and the beginning of famine season.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
like the
So
last
they had
big
a
party.
party with the last of their food, which
And
is what
especially the
I would
last of
do,
their
which is
meat.
why I'm not in charge of that.
Yes, yeah. It's like, hey, pickings are slim. Let's have a party.
Let's just finish it off, so
Yeah.
that way we're not tempted
Yes, yeah.
by food.
Yeah, like they would. That's usually like when the
Our
final
survival
slaughter.
isn't sneaking up on us.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of makes sense. Like they would be slaughtering animals because it would pull from their food stores to be feeding the animals over the winter. I guess is like
Oh.
kind of the
Oh, so
thought.
they like killed more animals for the solstice party.
Yeah, like solstice was like usually the
I
end
thought
of
they
when.
were just finishing up their food and they're like, okay, bark it is. The rest
No,
of
it was berries that might give us diarrhea and kill us.
Here, chew this stick. You're welcome.
It would be
Have
like
an orange.
that was usually when they were doing their final harvest of the year.
Okay.
They were slaughtering some of the animals that like
makes more
wouldn't make it
sense
through the winter.
than what
Right.
I was thinking.
But it was also a time when like I guess that's kind of like the roots of like Halloween and Christmas kind of overlap in that way because there's a lot of like lore about, men dressing up in like masks and pelts and like fucking with people, just causing mischief. So
Well, thank God we've outgrown that.
yeah, thank God. Let me tell you, that's gonna come up more times.
Great.
Um,
Or men ruining
yes.
shit.
There's also theories that like Krampus is just around because people wanted to make their kids behave during the wintertime when they were bored and didn't have ways to keep them entertained.
So they made them piss themselves.
Yes. There's also some theories that like Krampus came around with the rise of Christianity, where they were trying to squash paganism and any of the beliefs or rituals that went with it. So these people kind of like pagans found a way to incorporate some of what they were doing before into Christianity to make it like more palatable for Christians.
Yeah.
So that's another theory.
Like the Christians had to be like, don't worry, you can still get drunk and dress up like a goat.
Yeah, no one's gonna stop you from doing that.
That's Christian too.
And like incorporating those also was
Which, to
an
be
effort.
fair, would be a decent selling point to get me to go back to church.
Yeah, I mean, if I was allowed to get drunk and act like a goat and harass people.
Wear this.
Yeah.
No.
Guys, wait till you see on social media.
Garrett is
I dressed as Krampus for this recording.
yeah.
And it's lovely. So this was like that tool of like incorporating things was regularly used by Christians to try and convert non-Christians. Like, look, we do this same thing, which like they didn't. They're just like sampling other people's religions to like get them to convert. Ridiculous.
I mean, at least they got rid of the gladiator pits.
Yeah, they've got that
So
going for them. They could have been worse. They could have been fighting a goat.
That conversion technique only worked some of the time.
Krampus, it was successful. Prior to the pagans, there was this ancient Austrian winter goddess known as Perchta, which I think was detailed in like the Grimm stories.
Okay.
I think they talked about her in the Grimm stories. She was kind of like a combination of Krampus and Saint Nick and would show up and either like punish the kids or give them a gift.
Okay.
But the punishment was gutting them and stuffing them with rocks and hay. So weird, just weird stuff.
Corporal. Yeah, I mean, like now you're not supposed to spank your kids, but maybe
This
they
was
gave
like-
up, gutting and filling your kids with hay and rocks for
Yeah.
spanking,
Yeah.
Like if you look at the
it's-
history of corporal punishment.
Yeah. Like we've come a really long way from stuffing them with rocks and hay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
so
then, like, those parents back then were like, I watched my brother get cut open and stuffed
He's
with rocks and
fine.
haze, and I turned out fine.
nothing's wrong with me at all. Guys. So
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
no, that's okay.
Shit.
So ultimately, like we, it's one of those like very old-timey folklore. We don't really know the root of it. It's probably just a combination of a lot of different.
But so the Krampus that
samplings.
we have today, is that generally like a male energy or masculine energy?
Yes, it seemed to be.
Okay.
He's usually shown as like My description is sometimes shown as a Yuletide giant goat demon man that walks on two hooved feet, covered in hair or pelts, with red eyes, horns, fangs, tongue, covered in like bells or chains, and carries a basket or a sack to carry children. So he's
Being
kind of known
covered
as
in
like
bells is wild.
yeah, he's kind of known as like the anti-Santa. There was so
Santa's quiet, and this guy is just gonna like
the
clang
opposite.
his way through your life.
Yes, just a noisy demonic goat. I did think it was interesting. So in areas with higher concentrations of Catholics, the imagery of Krampus, he's much more like devil-like with like, the hooves and like the forked tongue.
Yeah, I was
and-
picturing the Jersey Devil from What We Do in the Shadows with a giant hanging ball sack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely
Just
an
swanging.
emphasis. Yeah, on the ball sack. Okay, side note. This has to do with ball sacks, but not really Krampus.
It's okay.
Did you read the article about Harvey Weinstein's balls?
No.
Okay.
What news alerts do you have?
So, in this like trial, his balls have been a big topic of conversation.
Oh, to like prove that they were.
Yes, because he has like very, I'm putting this in quotes, like, memorable, like unique balls because he had some kind of, and I didn't even know this was a thing. There is a gangrene that men who are like, have uncontrolled diabetes, well, I guess women can get it too, but it is primarily happens to men.
Okay.
If they are alcoholics and like if there's like a situation where like blood sugar's out of control,
Okay.
they can basically get gangrene to the balls. So his balls had to get out of like surgery, and I think they put like I don't know what fills the balls. There's like the testicle that's in the ball sack
Right.
is like in his thighs to like save it, I guess. So he just has these like real scarred, gross, flappy doodles.
So he's just got the empty sacks.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Like when you get your dog fixed.
Right, but the blood flow. So to save his virility, they kept the actual testes like
in his thighs.
Right, so they could have blood flow and all that.
Yeah. So like they were just going through
heinous. So it's really just like deflated, like when you blow up a balloon and then you let the air out to make a funny fart noise.
Yeah.
And then you just never inflate it again.
And then that was on your body.
Yeah.
And you also
with maybe like half a shot of water in it so that it's just sloshing.
And like warm.
Yeah.
And it's just like really fitting that a man who looks like a skin tag is just dealing with like this gross like ball situation. So
but why just take his test?
Right, like my attitude is I would rather just
snip it,
Yeah.
Like I would imagine it's got it. I mean, I can't imagine like
whatever it is, don't imagine it.
Well, I'm just saying like removing the balls altogether would probably be a weird feeling. Like
I think all of it's gonna. I don't think there's any good outcome.
Like I guess to me, I'm thinking of like if women have to have like a mastectomy, and then they have a reconstruction done.
Yeah, like put raviolis in there, so I've got something instead of just these flappy doodles.
For later.
So I just feel like it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
That's true.
Personally. Yeah. So anyway, that's my side note.
It's too bad the gangrene didn't take him out.
Balls.
Frankly.
I know that would have been much better. And actually kind of surprising. I feel like, significant enough infection, like in that area where there's so many lymph nodes and blood flow, like that could take you out.
Very quickly, yeah.
So too unfortunate that he survived it. But anyway, I don't remember how we started talking about balls.
Jersey Devil?
Yes. Okay. So the myth is Krampus travels along with Saint Nick. And on the night of December 5th, Krampusnacht is when Krampus was allowed to roam freely.
Oh, they took him off the leash.
They did.
Like the crazy grasshopper in A Bug's Life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but with more hair and bells.
Yes.
So children would either receive a gift from Saint Nick, which they would find on December 6th, which is Saint Nick's Day.
Okay.
Usually in the form of like fruit or nuts, which like how very German that if these kids are getting a fucking present, it's fruit, or like how you can't get more practical than fruit and nuts.
Yeah.
Or they would be punished by Krampus. The punishment ranges from swatting children with this bundle of birch branches that he carries to kidnapping them and sending them to hell or eating them.
Okay.
One of those things,
Pretty
which is
standard
why
punishment.
right, standard like German fairy tale child punishment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They do have their fair share of
Just wanting to scare the ever living fuck out of the kids all the time.
we would not have done well. Maybe we were German in a past life, and that's why we don't like scary movies.
Maybe, yeah, that could be it.
Because
Like
we're
if
just
you
like, never mind. Apparently, if you pick your nose, your whole hand falls off or something, and your brain leaks out.
I know, like, so growing up, I had an aunt that sucked her thumb, and there was supposed to be like I think he was like a barber or something that would come and chop the thumb off.
Yes.
So yeah, just, you know, along the same lines of grim fairy tales, just like some real terrible things that we're telling kids. He does carry the big sack or basket so that he can take the children with him.
Yeah.
Parents would also dress up as Krampus to scare their kids.
God, that's like that Wrinkles the Clown thing.
Yeah, it's not. It's crazy. So like generally now, it's just Krampusnacht is generally celebrated. It's like considered like Christmas Eve, depending on the region and where it is.
So it used to be December 5th, and so now it's celebrated Christmas Eve.
Yeah, like most people just celebrate it like with Christmas.
And so back in the day, like they'd get if they were good, they got a present from Saint Nick. They got an orange.
A craisin in their shoe in the morning. I'd be like, oh, gee, fucking thanks a lot.
But they didn't get anything on Christmas Day.
I don't know. They weren't really talking about it like.
I mean, it's plausible to me that they didn't.
It kind of got lumped in with like winter celebrations.
Yeah.
So I did have a little side quest aside from Crampy, about Saint Nick, because I did not know. So obviously this is like the origin. Orange is what Saint Nick would be giving good children that were well behaved. He's like the origin of today's Santa Claus. So Saint Nicholas was like Greek and Turkish. He was a Christian bishop.
Yes.
So they don't know a lot because obviously he lived in like the year like 300 or something like that. Bizarre amount of time ago. They say that he was born to a really wealthy family, and after his parents died, he just traveled around like distributing their wealth to the poor.
Yes. And
I have in all caps that Santa's a socialist, so everybody can just suck it that doesn't like socialism because Santa's a socialist.
I like that I'll just call them anti-socialists.
Anti-socialists. Yeah,
when that meme inevitably goes around this time of year about Santa being a socialist, they're always like,
or Jesus being a socialist,
a socialist. They inevitably are like, that's not what the holiday is meant for, is to spend time with family. Like, they take it so personally, and it's
like, folks, this is all made up. I am sitting here telling you about a Christmas demon because everything's made up.
Yeah, like, we can confirm certain people in history existed, but, like, that they escaped their rock tomb for 3 days.
And floated into the sky.
Yeah. And then Joseph Smith got some golden tablets and yeeted off to Utah for it. Like, come on.
It's just
like
arbitrary.
But yeah, so anyway.
So Saint Nicholas was supposedly very secretive about his generosity and very humble about it. And he didn't want people to know the good that he was doing. So there was one story. There was a man who like fell on hard times and he couldn't afford the dowry for his daughter to get married. So ultimately, like, these women were going to have to turn to prostitution because there wouldn't be a different way to support themselves. So apparently, Saint Nick, like, through...
He was like, I'll hire your daughter. Get them over here.
I'll employ them regularly.
Daddy's horny.
We're going to call them elves. Sorry, guys. That took a turn. No, that's not.
I stand by
it. In fact, I'm doubling down. No, he like threw gold through the window at night so that
pelted them with points.
He broke their window.
Just flick them
with flaming
gold. They played
gold.
quarters and
Pog. They started playing
Pog.
He gave them gold so that he could afford a dowry for each of them to like save the daughters.
But sneakily gave it to him.
Yes, like in the middle of the night so that nobody would know.
Like Mrs. Doubtfire. It was a drive-by fruiting.
Yes, but with gold.
Yes.
With gold. There was also...
I love gold.
Actually, what I said in my head was in SpongeBob, there was one part where he was like, 2 gold doubloons. That's what just played in my head. There's also a story about Saint Nick.
Oh, God.
There was a place that was experiencing this, like, isn't funny at all. It's horrible. That was experiencing a famine, and apparently there was a butcher who basically pickled these kids so that they would be sold as ham hocks.
Before or after he killed them?
I'm assuming after he killed them.
Christ.
And
That's
the
bad.
story is that Saint Nick showed up and resurrected these children, and I called it Saint Nick and the Cursed Pickle.
Title of the episode.
Merry
Done.
Christmas. Happy birthday. Oh my God.
Saint Nick and the Cursed Pickle. Like, what? So did he resurrect the components of these children and then, like, super glue them back together?
This story is from like 302, so I
don't have the details.
Yeah,
but
I mean, the story was that he resurrected pickled kids, so I'm just...
They were just all in one big old barrel.
Yeah, I'm just assuming that there wasn't a lot of, like, people being like, so when you say he resurrected them, because then they probably got killed for heresy or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's true, because as you were calling him Saint Nick, I was like, okay, but, like, what did he do that was special to become a saint?
He resurrected pickled kids.
Okay. So that's the benchmark, guys. That's what we got to do if we
Yes.
want to become saints ourselves.
If you would like to be canonized, you need to resurrect pickled people.
Yeah, or just pickles. Pickle Rick. Resurrect Pickle Rick. And
if
then
you pick a peck of pickled peppers, if you resurrect a peck of pickled peppers,
if you Lazarus
do you remember the tale of Gob?
Yeah, if you resurrect a pack of pickled preschoolers, then you can have your name in lights. That's
Merry Christmas. So yeah, that was my little side quest was Googling about Saint Nick. There is one theory that, like, the birch bundle that Krampus carries to beat the children with, the ones that aren't pickled,
right.
that it stems from a Dutch legend about Saint Nick dying, and that Krampus is him, like, returned from the dead.
He resurrected himself?
He resurrected himself, but then it was something about, like, beating the bishop to death. So I think he goes to, like, take his old job back and then beats the bishop to death with the birch.
Well, of course the bishop's not going to give you your job back, you fucking zombie.
Right.
You got horns.
He's a zombie goat who's coming back for his old job. Like
I would say no
retire.
too, fucker. Like, yeah, like, take a hint, man.
Yeah, just retire. Just retire.
Jod wants you to take a break. Go on vacation for once.
The theory is also that those, like, so you know how you'll see people, like, decorate their house and they'll have, like, twig bundles that are, like, painted like gold or silver.
Okay.
People put those in their house year round as a symbol to the kids to behave.
Oh.
Like, Krampus left his weapon here, so
That's charming.
it's like it's also a cursed elf on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There are some, like, similar beast characters to Krampus, like, obviously Belschnickel
Dwight!
in related lore.
Are you impish or admirable?
So, yes, Dwight swatting people with a bundle of sticks, obviously dressed very similar to Krampus, asking if they were impish or admirable. But that was more of, like, a secular, non-religious combination of Saint Nick and Krampus that was, like, specific to Pennsylvania Dutch.
Okay, well, it makes sense then why Dwight was into it.
Yeah.
But there is a Belschnickel in the Christmas Chronicles 2 on Netflix with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, just FYI.
I didn't know that. I don't watch Christmas movies, but
Well, that's some bullshit.
we already talked about Frau Perkta, the Austrian witch, during the she's specifically during the 12 days of Christmas where she fills kids with
Bunch
rocks
of
and hay.
oh, okay,
Um,
and gives the good ones like 7 different types of birds.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, just a bunch of shitty gifts. There was La Befana, which was like some kind of like Italian Christmas witch, and then there was like these Greek Christmas goblins that I can't pronounce. But I just thought the thought of a Christmas goblin was great.
That is great.
Um,
I also like the idea of being a Christmas witch.
yeah,
Like, what a legacy.
yeah, that's that book Aubrey Plaza wrote. She wrote a book called Christmas Witch, or I think it's a series of children's books.
Cool.
So, and like pop culture, there was definitely like resurgence of these Krampus stories like like around World War One, like late 1800s into like the 1920s, on like Christmas cards and like candy wrappers and stuff. You can still find them, which I can confirm because I receive a Krampus Christmas card every year from one of our Patreons. They were kind of like weirdly like Satan based and sexual almost. Like some of them had like women on them. They got like a little weird.
Yeah, get it, Crampy. Use that forked tongue. We know what you can do.
This is when she goes, "Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Garrett's mom."
I was gonna stop myself from saying it because I feel like I'm gonna do something else in
Worse?
the episode. But I consciously had the thought of, do I say sorry, Mom? I don't know.
Do I apologize now or later? There was another wave of like, like nostalgia in the 50s and 60s. So Krampus came up again as like a thing. And then at some point in like the 20th century, they started doing.
That is the 20th century.
This is a separate from the cards.
Oh.
They started doing Krampuslauf, which is the Krampus run, which is basically a parade of people dressed. I put
Where?
In Europe, like mostly like Germanic Europe. A parade of I put Krampi. It's just the plural of Krampus. And they basically just run around drinking, tormenting, and scaring people.
We gotta go.
Yeah, they do them like all.
Oh my
over
God!
Europe.
Join our Patreon so we can go to this next year, you guys.
Send us to Krampuslauf.
Please.
And I said that it's
You'd be so good at it.
this is my what is the word I'm looking for? My destiny.
Yeah, it's that Christmas song like, Santa, can you hear me? I have been so good this year. All I want is one thing, Krampus Lauten in my life. All I want just for me, underneath my Christmas tree. I'll be waiting here. Krampus Laut's my only wish this year. You're welcome.
She started singing that. I was like, I don't know this Christmas song. I thought she was mixing up Papa, can you hear me? I was like, that's not Christmas.
No. I think it's
That is not a real song.
No, it is. I think it might be a Britney Spears Christmas song, actually.
So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've watched a lot of Krampus YouTube videos. I really have disrupted my algorithm. Actually, I'm not going to say really disrupted. I slightly disrupted my algorithm.
Yeah, that's fair.
It looks pretty great, although I will say there was definitely parts where I was like, you guys are maybe taking this too far. Like, they would walk over and like pick up somebody's kid and like pretend to walk away with them, and the kid is like screaming and everybody's like, ho, 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 ho.
Well, I mean,
German.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, they haven't gotten over, like, they're not in that part of like, well, my dad did it to me and I'm fine. Like, they're still in that. And
Yeah,
they haven't reached that generation where they're like, no, that's demonstrably evidence that you're not okay.
When the
that you're
kid is
saying
like,
that.
this man that I didn't know in a parade.
Yeah, he had hooves. His hands were hooves.
Bells. A man covered in bells and hair. Nobody had a problem.
It's like in Christmas Vacation. Why is the floor wet? I don't know.
So make sure to be nice this year, or naughty if you're into Christmas demons and getting spanked with a bundle of sticks.
Hey, if you're into that, we don't kink shame on this podcast.
No.
Honestly.
No.
You should get real weird with it.
Yeah, like I would say generally no king shaming.
Like if you're going to enjoy getting spanked with a bundle of birch sticks, don't leave it out in the foyer for your guests to see as a
Yes.
threat and a reminder to them of what you do when you're alone.
Right. Or like who wants to explain at a dinner party that the bundle of guests isn't the bundle of guests. The
The
bundle
bundle
of
of guests in the
sticks.
corner doesn't need your attention.
The bundle of sticks does not need to be explained to your guests that it's not for scaring the children, but for your practices for later on. It's just not necessary to a dinner party. So
I mean, unless it's like a swingers party.
that's true. I guess if you had to put your keys in the bowl when you arrived, then
Like you hang your keys on a stick and then you blindly grab.
uh-huh.
And that's how you get your partner.
I thought that might be one to just let Katie continue with it. Well, okay, and what next, Katie?
Or what if you put all your keys in a piñata and then once it breaks open, everyone just dives and you try to get as many keys as possible.
Yeah.
So one person's going to have like a busy time.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
Is how that sounds to me.
But they will be the winner of the orgy.
Yeah.
So.
They didn't mention anything about Krampus being involved in orgies, but there's a lot of real weird. I feel like there probably is a German Grimm story about be careful
I'm
because
certain
you're
that
going to wind up in an
actually
orgy.
does exist. I showed you a German video earlier today, and I'm certain that person attended a party like we're describing.
Okay, look, a word to the wise. If Katie goes, "Have you seen that video?" You say no. And when she goes, "Do you want me to send it?" You say no, thank you.
Except that won't
Period.
save you because I showed you anyway.
If she sends you a link.
I was sitting here. I didn't send you shit because I knew you wouldn't click it. You jerk.
Oh my god.
I made you watch it.
She did. And I hated every moment. Well, that was Krampus. I hope that...
That was short.
Yeah, it wasn't. I knew it wasn't going to be super long. It was mostly just for funsies. I hope you are...
Are there any ways to keep Krampus away from you? Like
being
to stay
admirable.
safe? But do we know, is it purely like, like is that a subjective ruling?
I mean, yeah, it's... I mean, I always thought he sees you when you're sleeping. Shit was real creepy. So it's in that way, it's kind of like Santa, where I guess the theory is that he's always watching your behavior, which gross.
Yeah, that always made me wonder, like, to what extent do I have privacy in the bathroom when I was a kid?
Yes.
Like, I just always wondered, like, in the stranger danger type thing, like, do I have to report that Santa watched me pee?
I always was like, okay, so, like Tina Belcher and butts, right? So, like, every time I think about a butt, does that mean Santa's like, you've been impish? Because, I don't know.
But he's into it?
I don't... I do have a creepy Santa story.
I would love to hear it.
When I was like 6 or 7, like a mall Santa, you go and like sit on Santa's lap, which again, weird thing that we do. I guess we really shouldn't be sitting in Judgment of the Grimm fairy tales. It's fucking weird that we go sit in this strange man's lap.
Do they do that
in a mall?
Europe?
I don't know.
Hey, if you're in Europe and you're listening to this, can you let me know personally? Just comment on the Instagram post about this episode.
I hope that you don't, because it's weird.
Yeah, do you guys have mall Santas where like over here?
If you explaining this at face value is fucking crazy.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain it, which if you have it, then you're going to sit here and probably fast forward and be like, I don't need to hear a fucking explanation.
Yeah, I know what a mall Santa is.
Like, eat dick, Katie.
Yeah.
But like, if you don't have it, then I feel like the explanation is somewhat necessary. But like, in every mall, I feel like, or certainly malls that aren't like
the main,
dead,
like the bigger malls, yeah.
There's a Santa set up in the fucking mall, and you have to wait in line forever, and then you get your picture taken with Santa. And people do this with their infants all the way up until like you stop believing in Santa, basically.
It's like a Christmas tradition.
Yeah, like you sit on this guy's lap and then you tell him what you want for Christmas, which is the idea, like instead of writing a letter to the North Pole.
Right. And he asks you if you were naughty or
yeah.
I hate this.
Right. Which I guess, like, on the one hand, kids don't have the sexual association with the word naughty.
Yeah, still.
So, like, there is that. Like, they can't put it in that
But this
context.
stranger, this strange old man whose child you're just planting on, it's just weird to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, taking a step back, it sounds really weird, but I mean,
Did it.
I even did it as a high schooler, like with my friends. Like, oh, let's go get our picture taken with Santa. I'm very cool.
I did.
Stop laughing at me.
Okay, so I didn't do that, but
Oh, we also do that with the Easter Bunny too, guys. Just to be clear.
which again, weird concept that
But the Easter Bunny doesn't talk to you, if I recall correctly. There's no.
Nope, there's just a silent person dressed in a terrifying bunny costume, and it's supposed to be the tale of a human-sized bunny coming into your house and leaving you a basket of candy.
Did you ever watch the movie Rise of the Guardians?
No.
You're gonna get mad at me again. It's an animated movie, but
She still hasn't seen motherfucking Madagascar. Okay, I'm sorry. Proceed.
But the Guardians are like the different the different like characters. Like there's the Sandman, he like gives you good dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Frost is there. Santa, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
And but the Easter Bunny is like this 6 foot tall bunny, voiced by Hugh Jackman.
Oh my god. Also, the Tooth Fairy. We have some lady that comes in your house and collects teeth. What the fuck is she doing with
At
these
least in this
teeth?
movie, it actually looked like a fairy and not just like a human person who takes your teeth. And in the movie, they had an explanation for why they kept your teeth, actually. It was that it like had all your like childhood memories. And so like when you're like you can think back to like you can remember some things from when you were a kid, but not all of them. Like so she keeps your teeth so that when you need a reminder of like the things that shaped you, like those treasured moments, like she can come back and be like, remember your.
Does that mean she's gonna give me a tooth back?
I don't know.
Can you imagine for a second? You're going through a rough time, you're walking through your kitchen, and you step on one of your fucking baby teeth.
I'm pretty sure my mom still has my baby teeth.
I think my mom has mine too. At least some of them. Which please don't keep them.
I feel like also though, like at this point in science, it might be worth keeping some of your kids' baby teeth because like what if they go missing and they need the DNA?
Well, that took a turn.
My anxiety is doing great, guys.
I
don't know why you asked.
thriving.
I feel very strong.
So yeah, we have a lot of weird seasonal traditions in the United States, and I was about
saying about the mall Santa?
6 or 7. I was telling you about my creepy mall Santa.
Oh yeah.
So he asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and mid 90s. This is when like the late 60s fashion was coming back.
Yeah.
I asked for bell bottoms because those were like back in style.
For
They were a
sure.
thing, and that's what I wanted. So I asked for a pair of bell bottoms. And this man with liquor on his breath said to me, "Isn't that a little sexy for someone your age?" And I walked away from that like, well, something was fucked up about that.
Huh.
Yep.
Did your parents hear that, or was that the kind of thing where they were like, go?
Yeah, no, my parents were not up at I wasn't
Yeah.
with my parents.
Okay.
I was with, I don't remember, like a friend's mom or something who was like not there with me. So definitely got home and was like, well, this was weird. This weird thing happened. Ultimately, like emails were sent or I guess in that time phone calls were made.
Yeah. And then
Because he was definitely drinking and sexually harassing children.
Yeah, that's very Billy Bob Thornton as Bad Santa.
Yep. It was one of those like you don't even know what's wrong with it as a 6 or 7-year-old, but
Yeah.
you know something's wrong. And immediately went home and told my mom.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling too. Like
furious.
looking back and being like, no, I like knew that was uncomfy.
Yeah.
Which is like I feel like if you've managed to creep out a kid to the extent that they're not just like that general hesitancy around strangers,
Right.
Like, if you manage to actually creep out a kid, like, you are so far over the
To the
line.
point where they're like, I need to go home and immediately tell my parent about this
you're
situation.
so far over the line.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, so extreme to me because, like, kids are fucking weird. And, like,
Yeah.
they'll, like, kids mention weird shit
Yeah.
very nonchalantly and
Yeah.
don't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think anything of it at the time. But
Yeah.
for a kid to think something of it
Yeah.
and have, like, use their object permanence to be like, I need to tell somebody, I
Yeah.
need to tell a trusted adult about this thing,
Yes.
then you have gone so far off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
Holy wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That's
Merry
gross.
Christmas.
That is icky. Yeah, that's crazy. Do you have any, like, does your family do any traditions that you do every year or anything?
Not really.
Mm.
No. Pretty low key. We don't have a big family, though, so it's not like you with your fucking, what is it, 80
I have
first cousins?
over 50 first cousins.
No. That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people, but I don't know. I don't mind it. I actually very much enjoy, like, the noise of those types of get-togethers.
Yeah.
As much as I appreciate my solitude and my quiet time alone, I've, like, that kind of, like, mayhem is, like, right up my alley. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It is, like, and now with my cousins all having kids and all that stuff, it's the same thing. Like, we're just the adults having a conversation when, like, the kids come through like a tsunami of bodies, like, tearing through the living room and running upstairs.
Just a pack of kids like Lord of the Flies, just like
yeah,
running around.
it was like, when that happens, it's just so cute. Although
until Krampus comes and starts spanking people with his bundle of sticks. You're welcome.
At Thanksgiving, we were at my aunt's house, and there weren't that many of us there, maybe like 10 or 12 of us total. But my cousin was there with his wife and their two kids who are, I think, 6 and 2. And the 6-year-old was climbing all over PK and, like, really took to him. And it was fine. She was getting the 6-year-old was getting kind of hyper, kind of like new person sort of thing.
Yeah.
But at some point, my cousin said to PK, was like, hey, if you ever need to tap out, like, you don't have to. And his wife joined in and was like, you can tell us to take her away from you. Like, you don't have to deal with her climbing on you. And so, because he was sitting in a chair.
And before they even finished what they were saying, he was like, now.
No, he was like, no, it's fine. Like, he was a great sport about it. But he's sitting in a chair and she's, like, climbing all over him. And he, at some point, she, like, stopped and was kind of, like, sitting on his lap or, like, across him. And she was like, your forehead's sweaty. And he was like, can I tap out now?
Your forehead's sweaty. That's good.
He's like, well, thanks a lot, man.
That's really funny. That's good.
Yeah.
5 stars.
He was like, anything else? Do you want to stay on thinning hair? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, any other insecurities you want to tap on there, buddy?
Yeah, it was wild.
That's funny. That's really good. Your forehead's sweaty. That's funny.
He was like, thanks.
Thanks,
Cool.
I think.
So yeah, I do like having the noise and the chaos of it, but kids are mean.
They come out with some wild stuff. Until
do.
they learn some boundaries, it's like, yikes.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like you learn that when, like, someone says something to you, like,
oh yeah,
like a peer or something that says something, and you're like, all right, well, how about you just shut the fuck up?
Counterpoint.
Yeah, counterpoint. Screw you. Tell my
mom, and then you get yelled at for tattling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really beautiful cycle of events.
Yay.
Well, next week, I don't remember if we mentioned this. We're not going to have a regular episode. Not that this was a regular episode, but we're going to do a Patreon episode like we did over Thanksgiving. So you'll get a little sneak peek of what happens over on Patreon. And then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled, not seasonal, and not disjointed, dysfunctional junction content.
Yeah, actually, I'm very excited for the stuff that we have planned for the new year.
Yeah.
We had an excellent brainstorming session today. We have a few other topics that are already like locked and loaded and ready to go. Super pumped. I think that we're going to have a really great year. And
yeah, I'm really excited for 2022. Nope.
Excellent. Good. Proud of you.
I am looking forward to 2023. Lord help me.
You'll get there eventually, whether you like it or not.
Eventually.
Yeah, and to that end, you guys, thank you so much for listening and subscribing and
telling people and
5-star reviews,
buying our merch and sharing us with people and listening to us on. We just got our Spotify Wrapped data, and we're just like, oh, man,
it is just
sky high.
It's such an honor, and we're so proud of the work that we've put in. But it's also it's even better to be proud of something and have you guys also like it.
Yeah.
So thank you. It is just like it makes my cold Krampus heart all warm and fuzzy and weepy.
Yeah.
Because it is something that we really, really like. We really like doing it, but it's so cool that you guys like it too.
Yeah.
And it's just been really fun. And I'm very excited to keep doing it all of next year.
Yeah, not having a boss to tell me that no, I can't dress up like Krampus is lovely. Personally.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that part.
Yeah, for sure. Getting to take as many pee breaks as I need is also nice.
Yeah.
No, it's been great, and you guys on Instagram and Facebook are just, oh God, you're hysterical. I can't. I love talking to you guys so much. But yeah, like keep it up. Keep, stealing people's phones and subscribing them to us, they don't know.
Leaving us reviews, especially on Apple Podcasts.
Those 5-star reviews are just outstanding. They're just amazing and way more than we could have ever hoped for and wished for. So keep them
helpful
coming.
to us.
They're super helpful.
Ultimately,
Yeah. Any day now, Garrett will quit her job.
One of these days, it's gonna happen.
But yeah, no, it's been great, guys, and I know that I just keep saying the same thing over and over again, but
it does warm our little hearts.
Welcome Christmas Day.
So our Christmas gift to you is that you got to hear in the same episode about a cursed pickle and Santa being a socialist, whale sounds, and
one original song.
I was going to say, I went to say 2, and I'm like, no, the second one's not original. One original Christmas ballad and also a cover Christmas ballad. So if that did not tick all of your boxes for a Christmas episode, then I don't know what would. Yeah. In addition to Christmas music.
will come for you if that didn't tickle you.
Yeah, I mean, the warning from the end of the Krampus discussion stands. If you want to be nice and get a gift of an orange or a date. And if you're going to be impish, you're going to get spanked. It won't be by me, but...
Either way, you're eligible to get our merch. So
either way, you can still... If you feel like you've been nice and you want to treat yourself with merch... do that too. I personally am waiting for the delivery of my mug and my tortellini sticker.
Oh yeah, I got a tortellini sticker and a me button.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I did not get a Garrett Birdsona yet. I have the tote and a pin, and then I have the mug and the tortellini coming.
I do love my pot holder.
It is cute. It's really cute.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
So buy our merch, leave us reviews, keep listening, and we will talk to you in 2023.
Yeah! Stay merry.
And have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next Thursday with a brand new episode to delight your brain juices. In the meantime, the best way to support us is to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast streaming platform. You can keep up with us during the week on Instagram and Facebook at The Bar is Ankle High, and on Twitter at Ankle High Pod. If you want even more Ankle High hot takes in your life and have a few dollars to spare, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/thebarIsankleHigh. $5 anklets and $10 limbo champions get access to our bonus episodes full of our karaoke attempts, Am I the Asshole discussions, and wondering how we even managed to survive this long. Folks in our limbo champion tier also get access to ad-free episodes every single week. In the meantime, remember to be kind to yourself because the bar is ankle high.